All right,
Totally.
well, we should get motoring here. We still got to go over AEW's All Out
I
card.
know.
So
Okay, let's
let's
rapid
bring that up.
fire it. Let's
One of
go.
the things I want to mention right off the get go. Did you notice something about the slides for that? How good the graphics were on the slides for the
Yeah.
Clash. Fantastic. Now I'm going to bring out the first slide that I have here. This is the AEW.
Is this their official
This is what I
thing?
found as their official, right, for their event. It's so dark and there's so much going on. It what a difference where you
Yeah.
see the with the WWE one that it was just bright and it was right there. You knew each individual match had its own thing. So I just and this is just random. This is not me picking
That's
on
good.
AEW.
That's a good point.
It was just when I was looking these up, I'm like, wow, what a
Stands
difference
out.
in the yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So obviously we're in Chicago. We could call this basically the MSG of AEW. Really, this is like if MSG
Yeah.
is WWE's home, then this is
It's their home
Chicago's.
turf for sure. Yeah, definitely their
Yeah.
home turf.
So
That or Vegas, but I would say this one probably.
this would be the former Allstate Arena, I guess is what it is the now
Is that what
arena.
it is? Because I can never remember what this one turned into. Yeah.
I
Okay.
think that's what it is. United Center, I think it
Allstate's
was
the
at
one.
one.
Well, United Center is different than this one,
Oh, this
right?
is different. Okay.
Yeah, Allstate is the one with the big the roof with the like wood roof or whatever. I think they're
Okay.
two different things. United Center and Allstate are definitely two different because I think they're in different spots. They're like United Center's downtown Chicago. Allstate's like not. I don't think. But
Gotcha.
anyway,
Okay.
I think you're right. I think this is the former Allstate.
So let's do this before we get through the card. Let's start off. What's your excitement level for All Out before we go through it? And then we'll check our excitement level after we go through the card. What's your feelings on it?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it. I mean, like I'm watching Dynamite. I'm watching Rampage, and there's been some good stuff. There's been some stuff that I think they're just missing on. I guess where I'm at with all elite wrestling right now is, and again, it's rumor and all that stuff, but like all of the nonsense you're hearing about backstage stuff right now, if true, you're just like, what the hell is going on back there? Like it just seems like a bit of a mess, and I think it's actually impacting their show. And also, I'm getting sick and tired of the work shoot stuff. Like the
Hmm.
get like just move off that. You know what I mean? Because if you do it too much, it loses all its impact. You know what I mean? It doesn't have the same outcome if everything is a work shoot, right? I mean, like, so we got the Eddie Kingston Sammy stuff, we've got the Punk Adam Page stuff, and we got the Punk Moxley stuff, and like they even tried to do an like, just enough with it. Like, just
Yep.
move off and just start booking some regular angles. But so I guess I'm sort of mild right now on All Out because I'm not. I am a fan of All Elite Wrestling. I am an AEW fan, but I've made no kind of misconception with this. I think I'm still probably a bigger WWE guy, but I will absolutely give their product a fair shot and enjoy it and have enjoyed it. But I think there's one thing that's pretty clear. They have been in a decline. And so I think this time last year, they were on their peak, they were at their height. You cannot say that right now. Like they have been on a steady decline over the last few months, and that has nothing to do with the Triple H stuff or any of that stuff. I just mean from a ratings, storytelling, talent stuff coming out. Like they're, yeah, it's just not, doesn't seem to be at their peak right now. But so I don't even know any of the match. To be honest, I couldn't name one of the matches on the card except for Jericho and Danielson. So
Right.
that's where I'm at with all out right now.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. I obviously am not as big an AEW person as you are. I will watch it because it's part of my job and what we're doing in this
Yeah.
podcasting world. But I'm really starting to grow a little bit tired of it. I've honestly, I am stopping watching Rampage because it just feels a complete waste of my time. And in that hour that I've spent watching Rampage, I'd rather watch NWA or something and give them a
Yeah.
shot because it doesn't even seem like they're putting an effort into that show, to be quite honest. Dynamite, there's some good stuff and then there's some bad stuff, and there's stuff that drives me out of my mind, and then there's stuff that I really enjoy, and then they seems like they have to add a little bit on to the end of all that stuff each time, which makes me not enjoy it as much. um it's ironic, the whole, now we're hearing all the backstage stuff and stuff is coming out in the dirt sheets, and oh boy, that's what WWE's been going through for years now, especially ever since AEW. It seems like once AEW
Yeah,
came out, that all of a sudden the dirt sheets were all over WWE as far as all this backstage disgruntlement and all this stuff. That's really what caused AEW to flourish, is all these people that were disgruntled coming from WWE. And it's funny now that the shoe's on the other foot, how it really brings down your enjoyment of the product itself. Meanwhile, WWE, you're not hearing as much of that. And now we're starting to really enjoy the WWE product. So
right.
it's funny what all that stuff can play on fan psyche as well, as far as that goes. As far as the pay per view, I'll watch it. Of course, it's a major pay per view for a major wrestling company. We'll see what happens, but my excitement level is pretty low considering that they're missing MJF. They're missing their main event, which was Moxley versus Punk. They blew their wad on that, and we can get into what we think about that
Yeah.
and why in a few minutes. But and really, as far as the rest of the card, you keep mentioning Sammy and Eddie Kingston. When I went through the list of matches for this card, that wasn't even announced as a match on the
Well,
card.
they haven't been promoted because he's been suspended, but Eddie's been suspended, but they on TV sort of brought it up a couple weeks ago, but
Mhm.
then I guess Eddie got suspended and all that stuff, so it hasn't been mentioned.
Yeah. So
But Eddie definitely they didn't like put a thing up about it, but it definitely came up,
yeah.
and,
So
and they were going to do it.
we'll go through this. We'll run through this quickly, and we'll get our opinions on them. So again, there has been an official layout announced. So I'm just going with what I think the layout
Yeah.
could or should look like, and we'll talk about that main event at the end because I have some ideas around that. So let's start off with our first match, the TBS Championship: Jade Cargill versus Athena. Thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm a big Jade guy. I love watching her sort of evolution. Like I will give anybody or I will give it to anybody who says like she was green in the beginning. 100% she was, but she has really evolved that character and in the ring too. So um I used to be a big Ember Moon guy. Yeah, it's been pretty lukewarm since she's got in AEW. So I'm gonna have to say I'm only gonna enjoy this match because of Jade. To be honest, I think
Right.
she's a freak. I think her talents are all. I'm gonna take some heat for this. I almost think her talents are wasted right now in AEW. I think she could be a mega. She's better than Bianca, and I will stand by that. I think she is a better Bianca than Bianca is. Now, she may not be as athletically gifted in the ring, maybe, but I think she is a better. If you wanted to make her the Bianca Belair character right now, she's a bigger Bianca than I think Bianca could ever get to. And I love Bianca, so that's my praise for Jade. So anyway, yeah, I hope Jade just dominates her. To be honest, I just hope it's a squash match. She doesn't. Jade's undefeated. Like she better not lose to Athena, and that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I'll pretty much back up what you're saying. I know people say the whole thing about her being green. She's a superstar. She's
Yeah,
Jade is yeah, the green that she is money. That's what the
yeah,
green is,
exactly.
because once WWE gets their hands on her, they're going to turn her into China 2.0 basically.
Yeah.
Um I'll tone down the rhetoric as far as her being Bianca. I mean, Bianca is much more skilled than she is.
Oh,
Now,
totally agree. Totally agree.
would I love to see Jade versus Bianca? Hell yeah. Yeah, that
Yeah.
that would be a great matchup to see. Uh honestly, I was never a big Ember Moon fan, and I've really lost interest in her now that she's this Athena character. And
Yeah.
I just it's not for me. It's not for me. So I expect Jade to win this match. I will be pissed off if they have her lose this match. This
Agreed.
is how her streak goes, and I'm just going to sit and count the days till her contract runs out and she goes to WWE because you're right. They're wasting her. They're wasting her.
Yeah.
She will be a mega star. Yeah.
She should be the top of that division already. There's no one can convince me otherwise. So until she is, you're wasting her. And I will just say this to kind of defend my Bianca Jade position. My only point being that I see Jade, they're both stars, but I see Jade's star power much brighter than Bianca's. And that's saying something because I think Bianca is a star. She already just signed with Hollywood and all that stuff. So
Yep.
she's gonna be a star. But I'm saying Jade is so good, she's even a bigger star. She's even got better star power than Bianca does.
Presence. She got more
Much.
presence.
Yeah,
Is what you're
that's
saying. Yeah.
that's my
Yeah.
firm belief.
Okay. I won't fault you for that.
Yeah.
All right. Now, next match. To me, this could be the match, one of the matches of the night, because I love both these guys, to be quite honest with you. And that's going to be Ricky
Oh,
Starks versus Powerhouse Hobbs.
you've always been a Ricky Starks guy, yeah? You've
Huge.
been, yeah.
How about that promo on Wednesday?
No, he's fantastic. Like, listen,
Yeah.
he sold me.
Yeah.
I am now a Ricky Starks guy for sure. I've been for a little bit now,
Mhm.
but the guy. Do I think he's the second coming of The Rock, which
No.
Tony Khan wants him to be? I don't think he's physically gifted as much as The Rock was. But he's sure as shit talented, you know what I mean? So he could get there ish. But yeah, I'm a big fan of both these guys too. I think Hobbs needs to develop a little bit more of a character too. Like he's starting to get there. Um, and maybe that's just throwing him in there like they did on Rampage with a bunch of jobbers and he squashes them. That's good by me too. The one hiccup I have with this match is I think Ricky Starks is so much better than Hobbs in ring wise. It might be a bit clunky. That's my only worry. And I'm not
Mhm.
shitting on Hobbs. Hobbs has still got a lot of work, in my opinion, to do to get to that sort of peak um, technical performance. And maybe he doesn't have to be. I guess that's even stupid for me to say that because he doesn't have to be that guy. But Ricky is so bloody good in the ring that is it going to be the case? You know what I'm trying to say, where he has to
Yeah.
slow down or he has to sort
Yeah.
of
I know what you mean. Yeah.
wrestle down to Hobbs in a way. Like, and again, I'm not shitting on Hobbs because I do like Hobbs. I think he's going to be a freak and be really good going forward. But so I hope Ricky wins this because he should win it. But I could see them giving it to Hobbs too. I think Ricky will win though.
Yeah. How can I say this? I'm a huge Ricky Starks guy, and I'm huge on this Powerhouse Hobbs. I think he's going to be fantastic. Um, Ricky Starks is not going to be the second coming of the Rock. For some reason, people seem to be comparing that because he looks kind of like when I say looks, he's a guy who's been put in the dryer and shrunk down version of the Rock. But
Yeah, yeah.
But you know what he's going to be? And this is not an insult. This is a compliment among compliments. He might be the second coming of the Miz. So when I
Oh,
say that,
good call. Yeah.
I mean that he will be a guy at the end of the day after everything's wrapped up. You're like, holy shit, Ricky Starks was a two-time Grand Slam
Grand
champion.
Slam. Yeah.
You know, and for as much as people can crap all over the Miz and say this or that about him, he's a two-time Grand Slam champion because he can fit in any scenario. He's not a big guy, he's not a massive guy, but his character is big, and so you can
Yeah.
slide him in, and it makes him believable. You had the Miz beat John Cena at WrestleMania. Nobody would have thought
Convincingly
that.
too.
Yeah, nobody would have
Yeah.
thought that ever, right?
No.
But you're not going to have him go in there and dominate someone like The Rock could, or be that. Yeah, he's great on the microphone as far as, and that's what they compare him to The Rock with that too. But guess what? The Miz is great on the microphone too.
Yeah.
So that's
That's a really good comparison, man. I haven't even thought of it.
or like an AJ Styles or something like that.
Do you
Something that you
think
can
that
slot
means he
in.
has to? Do you think okay, AJ's a good comparison. My
Mhm.
only hiccup with your Miz one was like, okay, Miz has been really good at that role because he's been a really good heel. Does that
Mhm.
mean Ricky can't be a baby face in your opinion? Or
No, I think he can be both. I think he can be
yeah,
both for sure. Yeah, that's why I throw in AJ in there as
yeah,
another
AJ's a
example.
great one too.
He's
Yeah,
a guy that can win any title. He can elevate your mid card and still win those titles, and then you can slot him up
still be a star.
into
Yeah,
the main event in the
yeah,
right scenario. Would I put Ricky Starks in the main event when you've got it clogged up with Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns and Kevin Cross? No, because that will
yeah,
not look normal. But in a main event scene that has Seth Rollins, Matt Riddle, and Cody Rhodes, he'd fit in perfectly there, right?
yeah.
So
No, that's a good point. It's a good
yeah,
point.
no,
We're
and
we're
I know
already booking. We're already booking him for
I know.
WWE run.
And I'm just thinking that we're using them in comparisons, but again, it's another thing. Well, they're never going to use them right. I'm sorry, they're
I
not.
agree, and I think that
Yeah,
he's another guy that is probably shit on it all you want, but he's a WWE mold. That
yeah,
is a perfect WWE fit right there.
yeah. And just to finally on my prediction, I think Ricky Starks is taking this on as an opportunity to help promote Powerhouse Hobbs and put him over in this match, kind of like Seth does with people. So I
Yeah,
would not be surprised if Powerhouse Hobbs gets the win in this match, but
fair enough.
we'll see what happens. All
Yeah.
right. Well, that was good discussion. I'm actually looking forward to that match. I will say there's some matches I am looking forward to on this card, and that's one of them. So what do we got next? We've got, this is a match. I don't know if I'm looking forward to the match. I have enjoyed the promos on it though. Jungle Boy
Ooh.
versus Christian Cage. I don't think I ever look forward to a Jungle Boy match, to be quite honest. And Christian Cage's matches, do I look forward to those? Nah, not necessarily, but I enjoyed the mic work leading up to this. So they've built this match up enough where I've got interest in it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not really looking forward to this match at all. I mean, it might not necessarily be a throwaway match. As much as I am a fan of Christian, you're right. I've never really been waited on bated breath to watch his matches. So, I mean, take it or leave it. This one might be a bit of a check my phone match for me, maybe.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great story work involved in this match, but this is another prime example of, I think, one they've dropped the ball on because it started off super, super duper hot.
Yeah.
And I don't get that same, I do watch their program regularly. I'm not getting that same vibe anymore week to week now. So like Christian was just on that. He cut a little bit of a promo but like that, you've talked about this before with AEW where they blow their load right away. And then you gotta try and keep it up.
Yeah.
They came really hot with this angle really quickly with all of the aggressive promos and all of the stuff. So there was nowhere to go but down, in my opinion, on that one. So yeah, this one is suffering from, you should have done this match 4 weeks ago when the shit was really red hot. You know what I mean? And now I could kind of care less.
And don't forget the whole Luchasaurus. He's bad, he's good, he's bad, he's good type of
brutal.
thing. Yeah.
That was brutal. Just watch that.
I think he's going to play a factor in this match. He's either going to be destroying Christian or he turns on Jungle Boy.
And did they ever explain why he turned back to Jungle Boy?
No, never explained that.
So, like, if you're going to critique WWE's hot, like, back and forth booking or what was it called?
Hot shotting.
Hot shotting and what's the one where you
flip-flopping?
50-50. Sorry, I was going 50-50.
50-50, yeah.
If you're going to critique the 50-50 booking of their matches sometimes, then you sure as shit better critique AEW when they completely just full stop on an angle or a heel turn and go right back without explaining it. That's just dumb.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know why I'm getting fired up on the Luchasaurus stuff, but
no, I'm with you, man.
It's just silly to me. So, I mean, if I got to pick somebody, Jungle Boy will get the win, but I could care less.
Yeah, exactly. Although I do feel like maybe they can only redeem themselves if Luchasaurus comes in, interferes, destroys Jungle Boy, and then Christian gets the win that way.
Gets a full Luchasaurus heel turn. Yeah.
All right. Next, I've thrown in this match, and I don't know. Is this
a match? This
has been announced. The World Tag Team Championship, Swerve in Our Glory versus the Acclaimed, and talk about again. No storyline whatsoever. Last week, you had on Dynamite, you had Billy Gunn versus his son, which don't even get me started on that match. It's just ridiculous. The Acclaimed gets jumped after the match by the Ass Boys, and out comes Swerve and Keith Lee for the save. Well, Swerve came for the save. Keith Lee took about 10 minutes to get down to the ring because he walks so slow because he's so heavy right now. And yes, that is body shaming, folks. Sorry. Oh,
it's
man,
earned.
like the guy, sorry, he's just let himself go. And it's affecting things. And you can argue all you want about body shaming or this or that. I think the WWE does at times take into consideration people's health too when they're saying you got to lose some weight there, dude. That kind of thing. Anyways, I have I like the Acclaimed. I do, but there's no build-up for this. All they did was backstage, they thanked each other for helping out, and then all of a sudden there's a little tension between the two of them, and now we have a tag team title match. And
it doesn't make any sense to me. I'm with you.
No, so whatever.
I'm so whatever on this match. You know what also doesn't make sense? The Acclaimed being baby faces.
Yes, I know. With Billy Gunn.
With Billy Gunn. I'm sorry. It doesn't make sense. Like they don't have to be a true like super heel. They can be like sort of a cool heel if you want them to be, but they should definitely not be baby faces, like siding with the heroes and stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's just dumb. I'm not into Swerve in Our Glory at all. Sorry, I'm just not. People aren't going to like that. Don't do anything for me. I'd rather have seen FTR with these straps. So
yeah.
Maybe it's just me being pissed off that FTR, the best tag team that they have, isn't the champions. But Anyway, so another could care less about this match. So if I had to pick, I would like to see the Acclaimed go over because I am more of a fan of the Acclaimed than Swerve in Our Glory. But again, it's a toss up for me.
Is it me, or does it feel like ever since they announced this trios title that the tag team titles have just completely been forgotten about?
No, I think you're spot on because of who they have
Yeah.
in the main event and who they have in that title picture.
Yeah.
It's the EVPs.
I wasn't going to
So
say it, but yeah.
read between the lines. I mean, I don't think
Mhm.
that's hard to pick out.
Team EVP.
That's really what they should be called.
All right. So we'll take 10 seconds on this next thing because I don't even know who the hell's involved.
I don't think they haven't announced anybody yet, have they?
Nah, I don't know. I'm going to pick El Fuego de
can tell
Fuente.
you,
What's the guy's name? Fuego something.
Fuego del Sol or something, maybe?
Yeah, he beats Marco Stunt in the end. I don't
know. a glorious returning Joey Janela wins in the
exactly. Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela start their main event program together.
I don't even think I know the fucking rules of this match, so I couldn't even tell you. Like, it's obviously, I guess, similar to the Casino Battle Royal, but I don't know what that even means. So anyway, I could care less. It's gonna be the only reason I would usually, I'm a gimmick match guy, you know that, but they have done such a bad job of capitalizing on any of these gimmick matches with the winners. Could care less because who's been memorable that have come out of these gimmick matches? Nobody. So like, anyway, I'm sure you'll get 18 guys debut for sure. So that'll be
that we won't know their names.
And meanwhile, you have everybody like waiting on the bench. Wait, what about my time? Anyway? That's a whole other commentary about the bloated roster, but I'm sure you will get some debuts there.
Yeah. So then we'll go on to the match where we have 6 talents that could have been used in a lot of other matches that really could have been exciting. And instead, we'll jam them all into it feeling nothing. We got FTR and Wardlow teaming up to take on Jay Lethal and MCMG, the Motor City Machine Guns.
Well, first of all, can we talk about how you have another promotions tag team in a high profile match when you legitimately have several tag teams sitting doing nothing on your own bloody friggin' roster? How does that make any sense? It's not like they're even like they're not like Demolition or like Road Warrior level. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate the Motor City Machine Guns. They can go, but they sure shit aren't a high profile superstar world travel tag team. I mean, all the marks are going to argue they are, but they're not. So sorry. I'd rather see Anderson and Gallows in this match. If you're going to bring somebody back, then bring in somebody that actually has some namesake. But like, this match doesn't make sense to me. Like, and again, why are FTR wasting in a trios match? Like
yet another trios match when we have the title match. Why weren't they in the tournament?
TNT champion not even having a title match. Like,
why weren't they in the tournament?
Right, exactly. None of this makes sense. It does feel like sloppily thrown together booking. You got Wardlow, who you're trying to make Goldberg, yet you're going to throw him in a friggin' random nothing match. It'll be a good match. I should caveat it'll be a good match because these guys are all great workers and they will go. Yeah. I'm not going to poo-poo that. It'll be a great physical. I don't even want to say high spot match because a lot of these guys don't even do there'll be some spots. But so I'm going to enjoy this match. It just makes a zero sense. It makes me not invest. I'm not invested in this match at all because why would I be? And the outcome is irrelevant because they're not going to do anything with it. So I just think it's a wasted match.
Yeah.
So my result is give 2 shits. I don't care.
2 shits up. Well, I will say this. I really hope this doesn't mean that the Motor City Machine Guns are gone from Impact because I don't like to see Impact take a hit like that, but I'm hoping this is just a one-off situation. Here's an idea. We have probably the best tag team in the business right now. You could argue that they are. Maybe the Usos are. It doesn't matter. They're one of the best tag teams in the business. Why don't we start, promoting, since they're not going to get that chance at the tag team titles and the Young Bucks aren't going to fight them at all. Why don't we promote it as let's have some dream matches? And here's a dream match. the Motor City Machine Guns come into AEW and have a dream match against FTR. Maybe have it for the ROH titles or something
Yeah.
like that, instead of wasting it in this stupid trios format, because we got to make sure everybody's talking about trios now for when the Bucks and Kenny win those titles. So you could have done that easily, and that would have been a fantastic. I would have been excited about an
Yeah.
FTR Motor City Machine Guns match. I'm not excited about a trios match.
No.
And again, I'm with you. All of them are great workers. All of them are fun to watch. I This week I got to compliment Jay Lethal for the stuff that he did in his match on Dynamite. He does so many little things in the match that are so good that you can tell he's just such a pro's pro that nobody's going to even appreciate some of the things he does in his matches. But for some reason, this match just feels completely thrown together, and it doesn't feel like it's anything I want. And you know, FTR and Wardlow are going to go over, and if they don't, then they're even stupider than we thought.
Yeah, that's true. It's a good point.
Yeah.
And
So
you also know that Sanjay and the big guy are going to be. It's you can see it step by step already. Like you can totally tell what's going to happen. But yeah, agreed.
And speaking of trios, now we're also going to have the final of the the AEW World Trios Championship Tournament. So, who are we expecting in the finals of this? Because that hasn't even been decided as of yet.
No, it hasn't been. So I think if I remember correctly, it's the Team Elite versus Will Ospreay's group. So
Right?
clearly Ospreay's not even a contracted, they're not even contracted employees, so they're not going to work. So it's obviously, in my opinion, it's going to be, not obviously, but it's going to be the Elite versus Cassidy's group, right? Because that's
What
it's
a main
almost,
event that sounds like.
yeah. So that's the predictable finals, and it's just clear that the Elite are taking this. I mean, I don't think there's any question in my mind. They're building towards some sort of like Kenny worked injury, building up his strength thing, and all that stuff. And again, the work shoot thing. Like, anyway, do I think it might have potential if that is the match where it's best friends or whatever? I'm not a best friends fan, just not. I don't like any of those guys really.
Mhm.
Do I respect them? Sure, and I do respect what Orange Cassidy's able to do, but it's not for me. I'm not a fan of it. So in a way, I'm not excited about that if that's the case. But it's hard to deny Kenny's talent. So I don't know. I'm so torn on that. I think the Elite go over though, if that's the case.
Yeah. I mean,
The only
so
way it doesn't is if because the House of Black lost.
to the
So
Dark Order, right?
to the Dark Order. Yeah. So none
That's
of those other
whew,
teams make any sense. Yeah.
wow. The Dark
Yeah.
Order beat the House of Black. How
Oh,
far down has the
I know.
House of Black fallen?
I know it's brutal.
Yeah.
So just looking at the four teams that are left, the Elite. It's obviously the Elite,
Yeah.
and it'll be an okay match. I think it'll be spot filled match for sure. It'll probably, well, I don't think it's going to go on last because I do think the Moxley Punk main event is going to be the last, but it'll get a fair shit ton of time. So yeah,
You know what?
my
Do you see what
prediction
I'm doing
is,
right here? See
I
that
know, I
that's what
know.
I'm going to say about this match. Yeah.
My prediction is the Elite win the titles in a fairly decent match, but again, against an opponent that I'm not super into. So
Yeah. All right. Okay, we'll leave it at that.
I'm not even gonna comment.
Not even going to comment. Yeah. All right. Next up, we have the AEW Interim Women's World Championship. The moment that they finally get rid of that interim title for the men, what do? We get an interim title for the women because Thunder Rosa has lost her smile and is not going to be defending the title against Toni Storm. In their place, we have a women's four-way, Toni Storm versus Dr. Britt Baker versus Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida. There's three women in this match that I could see winning that title, and I'd be completely fine with any of them winning that title. So, of course, the fourth woman is the one that's going to win the title. So, my prediction is Hikaru Shida wins the title in this match.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Toni Storm, and then maybe it sets up a Thunder Rosa down the line. But
Yeah.
I I don't know. Again, to your point, with all the heat that's apparently backstage and everybody hates each other in the locker room and all this stuff, it's like, who knows? Who knows? I do like Sheeta. I am a Sheeta fan. I do. She could, her matches can be hot or cold sometimes for me, but I do like her mostly. Hater, I'm not really into. Britt,
Oh man, I
obviously,
think Hater's actually going to be a star, to be quite
I
honest.
I could see that for sure. Just not for me. I'm just not into her match style, I guess, maybe. Britt is obviously a great character, and I do enjoy her matches, but I think she's overrated, to be honest. I do think she is overrated. And I was a Tony Storm fan before, so I think that's why I'm gonna go with Tony, and I am a Tony Storm fan. So um let's go that route.
Yeah, I'll agree with you
That's
on
about my investment in that match.
I know. I agree with you on Britt. Like, she is overrated, yet she does exactly what she needs to do to, like, it worked as her being the champion, if I can
Yeah.
say it that way. It just because she was an unlikable heel, which is what you need in your champion, so that
But
the
she
baby
tries to be
faces.
cool too, though. That's what I don't like.
Well, she's trying to, but she's also trying to be bitchy, which is
Yeah,
fine. So
true.
I get it. So she knows she's going to be hateable. I mean, she brings a giant terrible towel to Cleveland. That's right
That's
there.
true.
Tells me way to
That's a
go.
good point.
You're going for heat, right? I agree with you. I think it's going to be Tony and setting up the inevitable matchup with Thunder Rosa eventually when we get down there. It'd either be her or Britt because you do have that rematch. They were the two that really put the women's division on the map when they had that match in the steel cage, so you could have that as well. But
Yeah. No,
again,
fair enough.
excitement level, kind of so
Meh.
on that. Yeah, it's I don't know. This card, man. I remember I said, "What are you going to feel like after we see this card?" I'm starting to realize what we're
It's
going to
probably
feel like.
worse.
Suicidal, I think. Okay, so now we get into what I think, because they did blow their wad on the whole Mox Punk situation. I don't think they're going to have a Mox Punk rematch, to be quite honest, because I think he might actually be hurt or he might have come back too soon. So I think what's going to turn into your main event of this card is Brian Danielson versus Chris Jericho.
Yeah, potentially. If that is the case, then I think it would be a great main event.
Is it an all out pay per view main event though?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I see. I'm of the opinion all of that stuff was completely a work. Punk is not hurt. Apparently, the go forward plan is still to have a rematch, and for Punk to win. So I think that is still going to be your all out main event.
Did they say anything
Um,
about that in the
they have not.
yeah.
AEW has not.
So
AEW
way
has
to
not.
go AW.
That's
Yeah.
just the rumored match. So I think this is going to be. This is going to sound worse than I wanted to, but 5 years ago, this would have been an amazing match. Today in 2022, it's going to be a good match, but I don't think Jericho. I love the guy. I absolutely all time great, but he can't go with Danielson right now, move for move anymore. He's just not able to, and he's still great at what he does, but he's not as good as he was 5 years ago, or even I would even say 3 years ago when they first started AEW. He's not. So I think I will enjoy this match. It's the only match I was really even focusing in on. I don't think it's going to live up to expectations, I guess, sadly.
Yeah. Now he's going by
And
Lionheart.
Danielson goes over if that's, I'll
Yeah.
say that.
Now he's going by Lionheart. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
how many different gimmicks are we going to throw into one character? I mean, it's getting comical at this point. I love Chris Jericho too, but he's been given way too much freedom to just basically dick around in
Yeah.
this whole division or whatever you want to call it. It's just he's been given too much creative freedom. You know, when people argue about Vince McMahon having too much control over his product, there's a reason for that
Yeah.
sometimes. There's definitely a reason for that. And this is a situation we're seeing here. Again, he's latching on to one of the hotter people in the organization, and Brian Danielson. So let's jump all over that. You know, he's latched on to the whole Daniel Garcia situation. I don't know. Will it be a good match? It'll be a decent match. It'll be a
Yeah. It'll
decent
be
match, but
decent.
it's not the main event of one of your biggest pay per views of the
No,
year, and that's
absolutely not.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely not.
I don't know. I let me see my prediction. Normally, I would say Danielson win. Daniel Garcia joins the BCC, but this is AEW, so I feel like Daniel Garcia is going to come out and sports entertain the living hell out of people. Do a swerve. He looks like he's going to jump Jericho. Jericho blades for no reason at all on camera. There's a bat involved. Sammy Guevara comes in somehow. The Anna Jay chokes out Danielson in the middle of the ring. Then she chokes out Aubrey Edwards, which I'd be okay with that. And then somehow Jericho wins with a sports entertainment move. So that's my prediction on this
I
match.
love that booking. That's amazing.
Oh man. So that just
You're
leaves
not
one more.
wrong.
No, that just leaves one more thing. So as we said, no more no more Mox and Punk because hey, let's pop a rating of 1 million fans as opposed to our
See, but
975,000
it
by
didn't even make sense because they did it at the halfway show.
I
I
know.
was like, wait, what the hell is going on here? And they kept
And
saying, oh, we need all the time. We need all the
yeah,
time. And it was a
e-
3-minute match.
except you were promoting that the main event of your show was the 6-man match with the United Empire and the other guys.
Yeah.
So it's like
It just I was like
uh,
super thrown off. Anyway,
yeah.
that's Uncle Dave Meltzer saying it's gonna be still the main event, so we'll see. But if not, then I think the trios match would go on last then.
So yeah, and that's quite possible. A nice way for
Yeah.
the Bucks to
The
find
little
themselves in the main event. Yeah,
EVP
yeah.
main event, right?
I got one more scenario for you, my friend. I got one more scenario. Picture it. This is the only way that AEW saves their pay-per-view, saves a angle, and saves their lives at this point. Here it is. John Moxley comes out with his usual Moxley walk, strut, badass Mr. Whatever. I'll walk through the crowd who's becoming a caricature of himself,
Yeah.
to be quite honest at this point. You know me. I was a massive Dean Ambrose fan back in
Yeah.
the Shield days, even had his t shirt. But you know what? I think the Moxley and AEW, once again, some people need a little bit of Vince McMahon to harness that energy sometimes. And I think he's a perfect example. But Moxley walks out and says, screw this. I think Punk is garbage or whatever. He's in Chicago, right? He can play heel for this. Punk is this, Punk is that. He's not worth it. He's washed up. He's whatever. But I'm not. I came to Chicago to have a fight. I want to have a fight. So bring me an opponent out right now. And that opponent is
Ooh, look at you.
MJF. MJF. And MJF ends the night, maybe even as a face, because Moxley's playing heel by downplaying Punk
Yeah.
in Chicago, and he ends the night as your AEW World Champion. And that salvages that whole MJF
Yeah.
angle. It
Does
salvages
it though? Does it though? Zero promotion for
I'm
4
trying here,
months.
Jay. I'm trying. I'm not an AEW guy. I'm trying. I'm really trying
I
hard
just
here.
would I would love that and hate that because it's like almost rewarding them for shitty booking. Like
Yeah, I know.
anyway.
I know.
Yeah,
It
listen,
is.
they would be cool. I still think we're getting the Mox Punk match and Punk goes over and everything is back. The rumor has it, and again, rumor innuendo, but Moxley didn't like how the All Out was heading. So he wanted to be a legitimate champion, and this was a way for them to put the belt on him legitimately, and then he would be okay with losing and all out. That's the rumor. If you believe it, you believe it.
So
But
his path to legitimacy is to have I timed it, a less than 4-minute squash
it was
match with
three something, yeah. Yeah.
CM Punk where he beats him with 2 double underhook suplexes because those weren't Death Rider DDTs. Those did not turn into DDTs. They were double underhook suplexes. That's how he beat CM Punk in that match. He's going to hold the title for a week and then he's going to lose it at a pay-per-view. That's going to legitimize these instead of unifying 2 titles like you would on
Apparently, if you believe what the
oh man.
sources say.
Again, too much creative freedom sometimes can be a
I feel we're
curse
going
instead of
down
a
a
blessing.
very negative rabbit hole here. We might have to wrap this episode.
Well, I go back to my initial question. So, when we first started this conversation about All Out, your feelings were meh about the pay per view. Now that we've gone through that card, what's your feelings about this pay per view?
Well, they're through the roof if MGF is showing up like you just booked, but otherwise, no.
Without the
Yeah, I mean,
MJF
I,
thing.
so I'll enjoy it because it'll be some good wrestling matches, but it's about the same level. I mean, if anything, it's a little less given that you're right. Some of these booking angles are just been ridiculous, but it's at least the same. Maybe it's not more exciting.
I think I'm actually more depressed when I go through that card and talk about it than,
Fair
especially
enough.
now that you mentioned that the Young Bucks could be the main event of that pay per view.
I would like if we're not getting the
Yeah,
Mox title match, then 100% that's the main event.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm at a Clash of the Castle. I'm probably at a 10 for enthusiasm about it. For this,
Agreed.
I'm probably at a -4.
Aggressive, but
It's
give it
aggressive.
to you.
I know. I know. All right, sir. Well, we have
Agreed.
gone super long, but you know
Yeah.
what? it's a pretty big weekend. I mean, like, thanks to them both scheduling this on the same weekend. That's fantastic. But
Plus, we have Worlds Collide, and we didn't even talk about that, which I think might be a good
yeah,
show.
yeah. I'm sorry, I just not enough.
It's just too much.
Not enough
Too much.
time there. So, yeah, it's
Alright.
been busy, man. We had NWA 74 this weekend. Haven't even gotten a chance to watch that yet. We had Worlds Collide. We've got All Out. We've got Clash of the Castle. We got lots going on. So if you're a wrestling fan, don't complain. You got lots
Enjoy
of
it.
content. Yeah, for sure.
Enjoy it, and
So,
just watch it for what it is. Don't
yeah, for
don't
sure.
critique.
All right, fingers crossed for an MJF return for AEW. Fingers crossed.
You heard it here first, folks.
And on that note, I will say this has been BC and this has been Jay, and we want to say thank you for listening, and we are out of here.
And we are better than you, and you know it.